Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 in a series of videos I'm doing from our Newfoundland trips in 2020. For day 2, the July group started in Stephenville. We drove up the rail bed and went into Serpentine Lake. It's a relatively short distance and a beautiful place to camp. We took this old backwoods trail here instead of the main rail bed, just for something different, but it was kind of rough and slow going. I don't think I would take that trail again. The next group in September went from Black Duck Siding all the way up towards Corner Brook, through the city, up into the mountains. We stopped at Cloudy Pond for a few minutes and then we came down and stopped in Deer Lake. If you and your friends want to do this trip, go to my website, crossingnewfoundlandbyatv.com. All the information you need to plan your own trip is right there. I explain in detail different types of trips that you can take, and all my GPS tracks are there for you to download for free. And not to mention that I give you tips and tricks on where to stay, where to get gas and food, and where all the best scenic spots are. If you like the content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified each time I upload a video. Like I mentioned in part 1 of this series, there are many unique aspects of this Newfoundland trip. One of them being able to take your ATVs on the ferry without having to haul them on, and this being able to drive on several town streets and city streets in Newfoundland legally. They are very pro ATV tourism in Newfoundland, and I love it. I wish other Atlantic provinces would do the same. This day started out cloudy and overcast. We thought it might rain, but it cleared off and it went up to about 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And then with the humidex, it was even much hotter than that again. In September, we had beautiful weather. It was blue skies and sunshine almost every day. A little cold sometimes early in the morning, but throughout the day, it was beautiful, just like here. If you've watched my videos from 2019, you know that you can drive ATVs and side-by-sides legally through the city streets in Corner Brook. This is fantastic. Thank you, Corner Brook. We stopped for a coffee at Tim Hortons, and when we were there, Bruce noticed that there was something wrong with his front left wheel, and there's a Can-Am dealer right in Corner Brook, so we called and ordered a part. We couldn't drive all the way out to get it because you had to drive way too many miles on the road to get there. So I put a message out on my Facebook page. Several people offered to pick up the part for us and bring it into town for us, which was great, and this gentleman here did just that. Typical Newfoundlanders, always willing to lend a hand. Old Man's Pond is a beautiful spot. We always try to stop in at least to take a few pictures and relax for a few minutes. And on this day we stayed for about a half an hour and barbecued up some hot dogs before we get back on the trail to Deer Lake. And on our way to Deer Lake, we had to go right by Cloudy Pond, so we pulled in and stopped at Cloudy Pond Outfitters to see if the owners were there to say hello. They weren't there at the time, so we just were there for a few minutes and then left. But it's such a beautiful spot, we had to come in and check it out anyway. This lake with that view is just something else, and we end up coming back here in a few nights to spend actually 2 nights here. And as of this summer in 2020, Deer Lake now has several roads that they allow ATVs and side-by-sides to drive on legally, so people can get from one part of town to the other. You can get to hotels, gas stations, restaurants, whatever, and it's fantastic. Newfoundland is getting really, really good at this. September, guys, finally got to Deer Lake Motel, and Bruce changed out the part on his machine, and I'm going to go back over and catch up with the July crew. Because it hadn't rained in weeks, this was the lowest we'd ever seen Serpentine Lake, and you could actually drive several miles past where we'd normally be able to go, so we drove around for a little bit exploring just to see where we wanted to set up our camp for the night.
I want to come back on the left here. This is incredible. Right there, that valley there.
Bruce was out exploring a little bit and drove through a section that was just a little bit too soft and got himself stuck.
You gotta stay on that side. You gotta get this in video. You gotta get that.
Once Bruce got out, we went back up towards the river here and explored a little bit, just because we've never been able to go this far all the years we've been here. The water's always too high. You need a boat generally to get through where we're driving right now. We ended up going back to where the area where Bruce got stuck, close to there, and decided to set our tents up there for the night. We had the nicest view of the surrounding mountains that way.
Yes. Let's get that done so we can... Yeah. That's gonna take a little bit.
Once everyone got their tents set up, they got right into cooking up dinner, and then the guys relaxed a little bit, and everyone started jumping out into the water because it was so nice. The water was pretty cold still, but it was actually refreshing after you were in there a few minutes and you got used to it. If you saw all the gear in the back of Chad and Gordon's machine earlier, this is it. They have all the camp stoves and the tent and the cots and all the food. They came prepared.
Feels like a neighborhood. It does feel like a neighborhood, doesn't it? It's awesome. Ooh, what's cooking up? So we got some Nova Scotia bear here. Bear sausage. Mixed with a little bit of Mountain House lasagna with meat sauce. And chipotle beans. Boys are living large over here. If you're going to do something, you got to do it right.
Bruce was checking out satellite view maps from where we were, overhead, around, to see if there's anything around us, and he found a really nice looking waterfall, and he sent the drone up to try to see if the drone could get that far, and then maybe they would go explore it later on foot.
I don't know what their deal is. They must just stick to water, do they? Yeah.
Want some of that spread? What's he getting? Firewood? Is that what it is?
Yes. Oh, that came out great. Is it? Hey. That came out really good. Look how clear that came out. You do what you're doing. Hey, you do you. Now we're all going to back away. That'll be gone in a minute. Yeah. Oh! Oh! Oh, that's not on the movie. That's the fire. That'll be gone in a minute, Mike.
I'm glad it was a clear night when we were there, because I have never seen stars that bright before anywheres. It's funny, a lot of the guys, after we were talking when we got back from doing the trip, commented pretty much the same thing a few times about Serpentine Lake, that they couldn't believe what the stars were like. And as nice as some of these stars might look, or as bright as they look on the camera, it's still nothing compared to what it was in person.
Wow. There's a lot of bugs around.
There are a lot. It's all moths. 100% all
Yeah.
moths.
I wasn't able to pick up all these moths that were hovering around and flying around us. In person, it looked like snow almost. There was just so many of them. But you can see a little bit here and there in the video, but it's absolutely nothing like what it was when we were there in person.
It's like 1:45 or something.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please click the like button and the subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for part 3, where the guys from Serpentine Lake drive to Deer Lake, and the guys that are in Deer Lake go all the way to Hawke's Bay.